One thing is make the film, but what's next when you have the film? You must have very good
You must
producer.
have God on your side.
What?
God on your side.
God on your side. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. Very good question.
Because
that's the most difficult thing. That is the most difficult thing, actually. Because that's something beyond your control. When you make a film, it's are we shooting? Or it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think when you make a film, it's physical work. It's all down to you, and you are in control. And if it fails, it's your problem. It's your fault because you didn't get out of bed at this time or whatever. But afterwards, it's out of your hands, and that's really scary. It's a mixture of luck, and it's so many different elements involved. And okay, we were in some ways very lucky because there are so many good films which don't get picked up. I think after Berlin, I was quite pissed off. And people were saying, you know, why are you so angry? Because, you know, it's great you're in Berlin, you're in competition, it's what people dream of, which is true. But I think if you see dogs when they've been chained up for days and you set them free, they're not going to lie on their back and let you tickle them. They're going to growl and bite you. It's the same thing. You just, even though you're free and you've achieved what you wanted to, I had 16 years back then of being ignored, and of course you're going to be pissed off. But you know, now it's okay. I don't have a problem now. It's okay now. So I feel very, very good about the new film. Maybe it will fail again, but I think for me the best period of a film is the beginning.
But you don't fail with your movie.
No, this film failed. You have to remember that this film, it failed for eight months. It was total shutdown for 8 months. Mm-hmm. 2.5 years of post-production, but within those 2.5 years, I went back to England to get a normal job. It was a failure. The whole story of this film is a story in two parts. It's a story of an amateur film which failed, and then producers came on board and sales agents came on board, and then it's like a normal film now. But when I watch that film, it's not just watching a film. It's like smelling the perfume of an ex-lover, you know. It's full of memories, usually bad memories, and of course, I mean, the post-production was a very bad period for me. I lost all my money, but all the money I had went into that film, and I didn't have anything left. I went back to my mother's house. I was 34. When you go back to your mother at 34, it's no joke, and I think also you deny yourself another career. Suddenly you're too old to just try something else because film was failing for me then. So you know, I think there's some with shooting, even if it's difficult, it's physically difficult, and you get over that. It's nothing, but psychologically, the post-production on this film was quite damaging. So I think, okay, obviously I'm fine now, but I can't look at that film and just laugh. And with Katalin, we spent more time on sound than shooting, much more time. Sound for me is so much part of cinema, and it's not just functional. It's not just you put this here and there's this noise. It's expressive. It does convey a state of mind. It conveys an atmosphere. Go to a studio, put some blocks of sound together. It's like doing Lego when you were a kid. It's the same thing. It's just great fun. You have to be very, very sensitive. Okay, you could go 200%, but then you get these very generic boombox, well, what's the word? Subwoofer Hollywood sounds. And I'm not talking about this, but just because sound for me also means silence, but it's just knowing how to use dynamics in film, and that's really the next film. Is I can see more time will be spent doing sound on the new film than actually shooting. So now the next movie I'm really, really excited. It's going to be a smaller film because we're shooting indoors this time, but the challenge is to make it as cinematic as possible. in a very claustrophobic space, and I wanted to push the sound even further this time. I felt with Katalin, we only went 40% as far as I wanted to go. So I'm on the second draft of this new film, and I feel I can't go any further now until I get some music from people. Then I can write again, and then when I do this, I can send what I've written to these people, and then they can develop the sound even more. It's like a ping pong thing. It's going to be never ending, even to the last minute. I remember when we were shooting in Transylvania, we were doing last minute changes, and it's always that way. Because you cast a film, and suddenly you have a different actor than you had in mind, and you have to write for that voice, for that manner. For me, writing is very fluid. It's always changing, and you can set up a certain structure at the beginning. But writing is great. It's very active. You're constantly there. I mean, if someone filmed me writing, it looks so boring. I'm just sitting there doing this. But in my mind, I'm actually watching the film, and it's fantastic. And no one can touch that. No one can harm you. No one's gonna not turn up, because it's just in your head, and it's very free, and it doesn't feel lonely at all. It's a huge privilege to write. That question comes up a lot. People ask you, where did you get this idea from? And it's okay, you could say, okay, this character was loosely based on so-and-so, but something comes first, this atmosphere or a theme, or it's very strange, and usually it hits you very hard, and it's compulsive, and it's very enjoyable, because when it happens, it's automatic in a way. And I remember Tarantino talking about this in interviews.
To me, the writing the dialogue is so easy. I actually feel just a touch of a fraud taking credit for it, even though I'm protective of it. I feel like, you know, it's just like, oh, it's like some sort of God antenna.
It's true that sometimes a good script can write itself in a way. You are just, it's like autopilot. You're just kind of manning the ship. It's just kind of, it has its own momentum, and it's a beautiful feeling. It doesn't happen often. It happens once every few years, but it's such an amazing feeling. And I think really gifted artists are, I see them as mediums, as they channel something from above, something from God even. I mean, if you look at Tarkovsky, Jordan Belson, Parajanov, they had something, or Bach, his music. It's something outside of their character, and they are just this kind of like a shepherd almost. Just they're not actually. It feels like the work is coming from outside them, and that is really, it's a beautiful mystery which sometimes shouldn't be explained. I would like to aim that high, but no. I mean, if you can't compare yourself to Bach or to Tarkovsky. I mean, they have something beyond words. You just can't. Okay, many books have been written about them, but they have that magic which I can't put into words, and that's the beauty of it. I think when people asked those characters in the past to explain their work, I think, was it this Russian ballet dancer? She said, "The reason I do ballet is so I don't have to explain my work," and that's the power of a great filmmaker. They do it in those images because it should not be explained, and it's there, and it exists, and it's wrong to take away the magic. I think once you explain certain things, the magic is gone, and that's also, when you make a film, that's what's so sad, because you are losing that magic as a filmmaker, because you see the whole process, and you meet so-and-so, and he's an arsehole, and he thinks you're an arsehole, and that's why you can get really sick of your own work. And so it is a kind of masochism in a way when you make a film. At the moment, I'm so desperate to do my own stuff. I have this queue of things that I really want to do, and I wouldn't even look at someone else's work, even though it might be amazing, just because you know how long it takes to make a film, and you know, okay, I've got 20 years probably of catching up with my own ideas, let's say each film takes 5 years. That's just 4 ideas, and that's going to be 20 years of my life. But I'm sure, as with most directors, okay, now I have a good period in my mind because I'm quite active. Even if I'm failing, I'm still active in my mind, and I feel very good about that. But it's not going to last forever. And I've had very dry periods. I had a dry period of 3 years, and just nothing came out, and it was terrifying. And everything I wrote was just sterile and shit, and that could easily happen again. And I think you can easily fool yourself that you're talented, but it's not true. It's just something is beaming down through you. I think all of us as writer-directors, and you grab this chance. I think very few people have that for their whole lives.